This is an update for July 28, 2013 on the situation in Syria. Today I'm mainly going to be talking about the Kurdish offensive in the north and northwest against Islamist factions of the rebel forces. This map, by the way, was posted on Reddit on the subreddit Syrian Civil War by the user Variety Gamer, so thank you to him for the map. However, just to note, there's a couple of areas that, according to reports I've seen, aren't completely depicted correctly on this map, but the areas we're going to be talking about today are correct, so we'll get down to it. Now, as I've been reporting in my blog, this offensive has been going on for about 3 weeks now, and one of the first areas that was taken by the Kurds is the Turkish border town of Ras Al-Ain. If we go over to Wikimapia, we can see this is Ras Al-Ain here, and it was right on the border of what is now the front lines with the Islamists. So the Kurdish forces came in from the east and have now taken the town. They took it on, I believe it was July 21st, and Islamists have been forced out west. I imagine most of them have retreated towards Tal Abyad, which, as we can see on the map, is being put to siege from the west by Kurdish forces. One of the main areas of fighting I last heard of here in Tal Abyad was in this little village here, Yabisa. So it seems Kurdish forces approaching from the east here are right upon the town of Yabisa, and I'd imagine what they are going to attempt to do is probably take and hold Yabisa, and then depending on whether they have enough men or not, they are gonna either try to take the town if they have enough men, or perhaps wait for reinforcements to arrive from the east and then attempt to surround the town completely before trying to take it, because the town was taken about 6 months ago by rebel forces, the FSA, but now it's completely in the hands of Islamist factions of the rebels, and reportedly they've been getting a lot of support from the Turks, even in the form of direct artillery fire on Kurdish positions. So it may be that the Kurds will attempt to wait until they can gather sufficient forces and try to surround the town before they try to take it, because I think it will be certainly more difficult to take than Ras Al-Ain was. So as you can see, there's a bit of a pattern starting to merge. First Ras Al-Ain, then Tal Abyad. The other major area of fighting at the moment is a little town, border town, on the border with Iraq over here. Again, if we go over to Wikimapia, we can try to find it. It's on the road to Mosul in Iraq, as you can see. So it has a direct link to a major city. Here's the town here. I've also seen it called Al-Arabiya on some websites, so don't be confused if you see different names for it in different places. That happens a lot in a lot of the towns in Syria. They have slightly different names depending on who's reporting on it. But anyway, yeah, so the strategy, it seems, the Turks are trying to implement here is to take all the rebel supply lines from Turkey and from Iraq, cut them off from their supplies, let them dwindle, and then basically push them out of the entire northwestern section of Syria. And so far, they've been advancing very, very quickly. It's quite surprising. I mentioned this a few days ago in one of my blog posts that their success has been really unprecedented in this war, where most of the fronts have been characterized by stalemates. The speed at which the Kurds are advancing is, like I said, unprecedented. And if you go back to the blog post I made a few days ago, I might link it here at the end of the video. I've made a few theories as to why that might be. So yeah, that's the Kurdish front in northwestern Syria. Oh, one more thing to mention actually about the front is that, again, there's been reports that the Syrian army, or rather the Syrian Air Force, has been bombing targets around Tal Abyad over here on the Turkish border in support of the Kurds. So some people are starting to talk about sort of temporary or perhaps permanent alliance between the Kurds and the SAA, Syrian army. We'll see how that develops. People are saying basically that the government has made a deal with the Kurds to grant them autonomy or semi-autonomy in the Kurdish areas in exchange for their military support in the war. I don't know if that's true at the moment. It would seem to be a prudent deal for both sides to make, but there's several other factors that could come into it that could prove to make the deal very difficult. Anyway, the only other area to talk about today is, of course, Homs, or Homs. Again, I've been reporting a lot on Homs in the last few days on my blog. The battle, as far as I can see, is starting to approach its end. I reported yesterday that the Khalid ibn Walid mosque was taken, which was one of the major symbols for the rebels in Homs. And certainly the government taking that mosque almost certainly dealt a blow to rebel morale in the city. Just to give you an overview, the areas of fighting, again, for those of you that may not have been following so closely, is the district here, Al-Khalidiyya, the district here, Al-Hamdiyya, Al-Qasur, Bab Hud, and parts of the old city here. Now, Bab Hud and the old city, I believe the western parts of it, is almost entirely in the Syrian Arab Army's hands. About the figures I've been seeing is about 70 to 80%, and that there's only northern sections of Bab Hud left in rebel hands. As of today, the figures emerging in Al-Khalidiyya seem to be about the same. One pro-regime source detailed an interview they had with an officer who said that they controlled, again, about 80% of the city and only northern sections, so the area roughly around here perhaps, was left in rebel hands, and that it would be taken in 24 hours. Whether that's true is another matter. Oftentimes I've seen overestimations of the speed of their advance by pro-regime sources, so we'll see how that goes. I do think the battle is approaching its end, though. After Al-Khalidiyya is taken, Bab Hud will follow soon after, and then Al-Qasur, really, there's not much chance of it standing on its own for any long period of time. I would say 2 weeks tops, barring any unforeseen circumstances. 2 weeks tops, and the the whole battle should be over. So that's the update for July 28th. Stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully I'll post another one tomorrow. If you like this new format of videos instead of just text, just blog writings, let me know either in the comments here or on the blog, and I'll stick with it. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.